Hey guys, welcome back. It's now Wednesday morning, I think, and this is Wednesday morning's devotion for you. We're talking about that one thing, that one thing that if you find it, it'll make you more successful and make you more effective. And I say that because it's obvious. Now, in our one thing, we've been talking about the priority of one thing for emotional wellness, to be able to be single-minded is the way that God would want for you to be. We've spoken about the principle by answering the question, what is that one thing? It's just one thing. That if you did it, a whole bunch of other things in your life would become either easier to do or unnecessary completely. It's that one thing. I want to take that a step further and emphasize it so you really get this. It is so important. That one thing is, let me illustrate it with two illustrations this morning. First one happened to me some years back was I was at a hotel function, and a man walked up to me and greeted me by name, and I didn't recognize him at first. And then he went on to tell me that he had come to me for counseling some years earlier. His life was falling apart. He was drinking too much. He couldn't hold down a job. His wife was wanting to divorce him. His kids were not liking him, and his life was in a mess. And then he said to me, he said, "Hey Trevor, but life has turned around." And I thought, oh, maybe it's because I'm a good counselor, but it wasn't that at all. He had found this principle that I'm telling you to be the truth. What he said was this. He said, now life is so good. He said, here I am at this function. He said, I've held down a job for the last couple of years. My wife and I are doing really well in our marriage. My kids think I'm awesome, and I've turned my life around. So I was intrigued. I said, how did you do it? What did you do after coming such in a mess? He said simply this. He said, Trevor, I stopped drinking. And I thought, is it that simple? Apparently for him it was. The one thing that he needed to do was to get a grip on this thing called alcohol. And he did it. And as a result of that, a whole bunch of other things became easier to do or even completely unnecessary. He found that one thing, and it changed his entire life because he did it. Second example is a biblical one. In Genesis, we have the story of Jacob who ripped off his brother Esau. He stole his birthright, and he ran from that day on. Esau became a very powerful man and chased Jacob all around the place. Jacob was on the run continually. He had a guilty conscience. He was looking behind himself all the time, and then one day he could take it no longer. After all the sleepless nights and all of the angst and anxiety about his brother and the fear of being found out, he decided to go and see his brother. Books a meeting with him down at the river, and he goes down. He leaves his family behind. He goes down courageously to the river to meet his brother. He met God at the river, by the way. But then he met up with his brother and he made right with him. His brother forgave him and he asked for forgiveness. And after that, the man was a different person completely. Oh, he walked with a limp because God touched him there. But at the end of the day, his life was transformed. Why? Simply because he found the power of forgiveness. You see, people, forgiveness is so critical. Could forgiveness be the one thing that you need to do? Could forgiveness be that one thing that if you just forgave, it would change everything about you and around you, and like I said, would make a whole bunch of other things easier to do or completely unnecessary. Now, there are a list I have of different areas of your life that I would implore you to go and look at and ask yourself the question, what is that one thing? What is that one thing in this area of my life that if I did it, may not be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. But if I did it, it would make everything change. Some things would be much easier to do. Some things would be unnecessary to do. But one thing I know, it would change your life. What about your spiritual life? First of all, how's your relationship with God? Is He number one? Are you seeking first His kingdom? It doesn't mean you can't seek other stuff. It just means you've got to seek Him first. What about your marriage? Is there one thing you need to do to make a better marriage? Because if you did that one thing and you actually know what it is, to be a better father, to be a better mother, to be a better boss, to be a better employee, what is that one thing you need to do to be better in those areas? What is the one thing that you need to do that will affect everything else? What is the one thing that you need to do to be a better friend, to be a better person, to be a better human being, to be healthier, to be better in your mind, to be better relationally? What is the one thing that you need to do in each of those areas that if you did it would make life a whole lot easier and a whole lot of other things unnecessary to do? Forgive me for the simplicity of this, but as we said on day one, it's the simple truths of life that make life work. Everybody's looking for a complicated answer. Some people think the more complicated it is, the better it is. It's worse. The principles of life, according to Scripture, are find that one thing, do it well, and watch everything change. Have a fantastic day, you people. Cheers.